and I'm going to cover what we will study in the course. Okay, so what is sociology? A lot of you will say it's the study of society, and you are absolutely right. Okay. Sociology involves studying different groups that make up society, including genders, different social classes, different ethnic, different religious, and different age groups. And we look a lot during the course at inequalities and differences between the groups. And we ask the question, if these groups are unequal, where can we see the inequalities? Okay. For women, for example, we can see very clearly inequalities compared to men within the workplace. Okay, we can see the difficulties that there are for women to, particularly those with children, access high status jobs within the professions like education, the law, and medicine. Not only do we look at evidence of inequalities, gender inequalities, social class inequalities, ethnic inequalities, but we also look at the root cause of these inequalities. Within the course and the discipline as a whole, we look at social problems, okay, including crime and deviance. We look at why people commit criminal and deviant activities. We look at what deviance is. We look at which social groups are, in theory, more criminal and deviant than others, and of course, why. We look at educational underachievement, which social groups, be it genders, social classes, ethnic groups, are more likely to underperform in school and why. And we also look at poverty and how that impacts on life chances. Okay. Particularly interesting to think about in the course of the lockdown that we are coming out of. Okay, we try to explain reasons for these issues as well, as I've just said, and also policy recommendations as well. So things that we can do, for example, to raise the achievement of poor groups within education. Things also that we can do to prevent and reduce crime and deviance in society today. We also look at the social institutions that make up society, the family, the education system, the workplace, and the way that they all work together. Okay, depending on your theory that you follow in sociology, you may well see these as working together adequately and effectively. Depending on other theories, you may see these institutions as not working well at all in society. Why study sociology? Well, it helps us clearly to understand the society that we actually live in and the problems that encompass society, the problems that make up society, like underperformance in school, crime and deviance, poverty, homelessness. And we think about what the possible solutions are to ending these issues or to tackle these issues and make society a better place. What better thing to do than to study a discipline where you can actually understand the society around you and the problems that actually make up society and the things that maybe we can do to make things better. As a A-level, the subject of sociology helps you to develop valuable skills, okay? Skills in terms of communication, literacy, numeracy, and it is excellent preparation for the demands of university courses and also jobs, where you actually need to think about things around you in a careful, rigorous, and thoughtful manner. The most important reason to spend 2 years working hard on difficult topics, though, is because it's simply interesting as a discipline to study. What qualifications do you need to do sociology? You will need 5 GCSEs at grade 5 or higher, including English language. That predominantly is what you need to do any A-level course where you are studying 3 A-levels alongside one another. You also, within sociology, you need to be prepared to write essays, and you need to have an open mind as well. You need to be able to think of different angles and different arguments and different debates and different angles on social problems, and you need to be able to encapsulate that in an essay. Okay, so if you are writing essays is your thing, and being critical and thinking about problems and being able to write that down on paper is your thing, then you'll like this subject. In terms of the subjects that sociology goes really, really well with, it goes well with psychology, it goes well with politics, it goes well with history, and a number of different subjects. I've even got people doing maths in sociology this year, which is something a little bit different than normal. Right, what will you study for the A-level? In year 1, you will study the topics of education with theory and methods after the introduction to the subject. You will study families and households as well, okay, where you'll look at what the family is, how the family is changing, different trends relating to gender equality within relationships, and so on. Okay, year 2, you'll study crime and deviance with theory and method, and this is one of the ones that people always love. Okay, looking at what crime and deviance is, who commits crime, why, what can we do to prevent and reduce criminal behaviour. We even look at whether we can trust what official crime statistics are telling us about typical criminals and deviants. Okay, are they actually trustworthy? Or are certain groups in society labelled negatively, meaning they're more likely to be sanctioned or punished harshly for non-conformist behaviour? We also look at beliefs in society, which is a sociology of religion, effectively. And we look at what religion is, how we can define it. We look at what the role of religion is in society. We think about, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? We look at different religious groups as well, and different organisations like cults and sects and denominations. We look at which social groups are likely to be attracted to joining these movements, what are the characteristics of the movements, and why do people join, which is a really interesting question, more kind of bizarre religious groups where maybe they have to make very many kind of sacrifices in terms of breaking off from their normal kind of lifestyles for the good of the group. We also look for beliefs that whether we're becoming a secular society or not. Are we becoming non-religious in the UK or not? Is a non-religious outlet something that is a global phenomenon? Is it something that is typical globally, or is it just in the UK? And so on. How are you assessed in sociology? Typically, it is exam. You will end up with 3 exams at the end of 2 years. There is no coursework. All through the course, however, you will be given for your homework different types of examination questions to have a go at, so you're really, really confident and competent when it comes to the exam after 2 years. Obviously, you'll have the support to actually help you approach those questions throughout the sociology A-level. Below are the 3 papers with the topics. So paper 1, education with theory and methods. Paper 2, family and households and beliefs in society. And paper 3, Crime and Deviance with Theory and Methods. What you also will have in your second year is we have the chief examiner who can't for sociology, who will come in and do some skills seminars with me. Thank you. If you have any questions, if you can post them now.
There's a couple of questions that have come in the chat box. I can see at the bottom, if you can.
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
Hi. Okay, in terms of courses you can study alongside sociology, psychology works really, really, really well. With sociology, we have lots of students that do a combination of both those subjects. Lots of students do English with sociology as well. Okay, and there are some crossover with topics. For example, feminism is a component of both English language courses and also sociology, looking at women and the disadvantages that they may encounter in society. Thank you. And then we've got Daisy. Hi, Daisy. In terms of the class sizes, we're looking at about 21, 22. They sometimes start a little bit bigger, although I don't really tend to lose very many students, if any. So I'm about 21, 22 in the class. Most sociology students that I teach will go to university, which is typical of actually a lot of the A-level cohort that we have at the college. Okay, in terms of homework, so I can't see your name up here. You will have at least 2 sets of homework for sociology per week. You're expected to spend about 4.5 hours per week on each of your different subjects to coexist alongside being in lessons. And you might think, oh, that seems like a lot, but actually it will be different from school in the sense that you're not going to have every hour of your day in a physical classroom. Okay, so you'll be having quite a lot of time to work independently. You've got the library where you can do your homework and other spaces, and obviously at home as well. So FE is different from school. You're not going to be sort of in class every hour, every day. You will have that sort of time to dedicate to your studies outside of the classroom. No, you don't need your own laptop or device. Some students bring them in for various reasons, but you don't need to have one. And in fact, in terms of kind of the homework that I would set, I would encourage people to not type up the vast majority of it, to actually handwrite it, because that's what you're expected to do in the exam, and you need to kind of get into the habit of being able to write the required amount. So I would encourage the handwriting. Obviously, there are exceptions to that for various reasons. Okay. Thank you very much for listening, and we hope to see you in September. Have a good summer. Take care.